Alright, we're here with Hamza, Might of Yathan. 5 mana, 5/6. Whenever a creature you control is turned face up, oh boy, it endures X, where X is that creature's toughness. And landfall, whenever a land you control enters, seek a creature and manifest it. So you can play something like. What is it? Ashaya, that's right. This is the combo where if you play this with your commander in play, then all of your face down manifest creatures trigger landfall for your commander, and then it just keeps happening. So you effectively will put all of the creatures in your deck into play as tutus. Now, there are some, and I mean some, like very few, ways to then, when you have an army of tutus, that is the entirety of your creature base in play, you can then sometimes flip it like the one that gives them all haste and then do stuff to give them the ability to attack, but that requires you play a bunch of really not great cards. Some of them are actually really expensive, like, what was it, Gold Maw? Was that one of them? Or God Maw? Crazy name. Yeah, this thing. So if you play all your creatures manifested, including this, if you then flip this for either 7 mana in the same turn that you did everything, so not very likely, you can then play a land, and then they all have haste, and you can swing and probably just one-shot your opponent. However, this has to either be in play first for you to have all of that matter, or you do the thing where you flip this the turn you put it in play face down with everything else, flicker it with ephemerate, would be the most likely outcome, and then play your land and then suddenly can swing. So it's just like a lot for this to actually do the thing after you've comboed. And another one is Surak, where if it isn't in play before you're doing the thing, then you're not gonna have them get haste, because this was one of the cards you put into play face down as a 2/2. So you could flip this, but then all of the other creatures don't have haste because they're already in play. You could hold priority for each in every single creature until you hit this one, and then cast Ephemerate or something like Cloud Shift on this, so then everything after it has haste. It's kind of weird, but I guess you could go that line. This is all dependent that you had Ephemerate or Cloud Shift anyways. So I don't really like these. Now again, if you play them if they're in play before you did it, then you have this as your, haste enabler. But it has to be in play before you did it, which means either your commander is just sitting there and your opponent hasn't killed it, and then you played this as your spell the next turn, and then you also played Ashaya, I guess, and all of this was just not being interacted with. I don't know what format you're playing, but that's not the one I'm playing, so that's just not going to happen. The Heroic Intervention. Okay, because now that I feel like we effectively have to pass the turn back with an army of tutus, which to me is probably the best way to go about things, so you don't play like these not very good cards in your deck, especially it's effectively really bad too if you're not even going for any combo currently and you just have this like 6 mana not great card in your hand or whatever that you actually have to cast. Because of that, we have to pass a turn, and Heroic Intervention with your Ashaya, once you play a land for the turn, because you play this, and then next turn you play a land, ideally, and then you play this, your commander, at the very least, including the land you just played, is your 2 mana that you have for the turn after you cast this, and then you can cast Heroic Intervention. Now, this doesn't stop your opponent from killing this when this is on the stack, because you won't have the second mana of the turn, essentially, until this is in play to turn this into a land. So it doesn't work out too amazing, but, that's why this was in here. This one is in here. If I have to pass the turn back and they have, a sweeper or something, I can protect all of my stuff just barely with the mana. The Giver and Mother Skrelv stuff is just layers of protection for the combo as well. Flare, you can't necessarily sack your commander to defend the combo chain, but you can use it to defend against a board wipe because you can sack your commander on your opponent's turn. You don't really care about this. You just have an army of 2/2s when it goes into your next turn to kill your opponent. And having said all that, your opponent can also simply concede when you're doing the thing. Like, you just cast this and they're just over it. That could technically happen as well. So, it's alright, I guess. Oh yeah, that's another thing. This card, with your commander, you find lands, I guess. I don't really care about that much. This could kind of just be explosive vegetations, but it's funny when it works. I don't feel obligated to play a ton of basics because of this card, but it does, when you're doing the thing, have the potential to vomit out all the basics. But again, if you're already comboing, you don't need more mana. If you're not comboing, and this is in play, and then your commander shows up, yeah, you're going to start to play a basic all the time. If this triggers 3 times, that's great. It doesn't have to trigger 25 times. There's no reason, in my opinion, to play more than like 10 basics. I don't even think I have 10. But yeah, so let's see what happens. Oh, it doesn't have... I already have a deck named this? Okay. There we go. Easy. Oh, wait. Yeah, there we go. Huh. Someone who didn't pretend like they had options. Look at that. I have to play the tap land, which is abysmal. Gemstone. Imagine I had that. Alright, we're going to leave up Haro. Love to see that. Let's get rid of this. Get black and green? Could get black and white. No, let's just get black and green. Oh, I meant to get black and green. Oh, whoops. Oops. I meant to get black and green. I accidentally got green and white. Alright. Mistakes. Let's see if it matters. Alright, it looks like it didn't actually matter. We can play... untap land... Yeah, we don't need this loot, so just send it to the counter gods here. Sack it to the counter gods. Okay. Surprised they countered that one. Maybe that one isn't that bad to see for the opponent. They Noxious Revival a land. Okay. They just flash out a Sea Dasher Octopus. Okay. I guess I'm blocking it. Interesting. How do you not cast it? What? You don't swing with it? What's going on? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Okay, they let that go. Interesting. That just snap resolved. Alright, looks like they have Tail's End. Because it didn't hold priority from the Provisioner. Another land is actually fine with Court of Calling and my commander. Although they have Tail's End, so that's not 100% true. I'm not going to take the trade. Yeah, I'm never trading Tireless Provisioner, so... Guess I'll just look like this. And if they have to leave up Tail's End, I can cast it, my commander, twice. It's definitely a Tail's End here. Oh, I mean, to be fair, it could be Stifle. But it's, I mean, let's be real, it's Tail's End. It's not rocket science here. I can Chord for not anything important. Yeah, we can cast this twice. If they get mana drain, I guess the game does end. But I survive all other counterspells. Okay, it was a tail zone. What about that? Put that back there. Let's play this. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for this. What is that doing? I feel like nothing that I care about currently. So I'm not going to make a move. There's nothing Chord does. Like, a Shy is just not what I want. Wait, could I even do a Shy? Hold on. No, I couldn't do that. Okay. I don't think Farseek has text on it. I think I'm surprised at what just happened. Can cast it again. Looks like there's another counter spell. Could be a Brazen Borrower. I kind of doubt that, though. Two Flying Vigilance enters, draw 2. Then discard 2 unless you discard an instant or sorcery. Okay. Very random. But it's got text on it. Opponent gets rid of Warzone, Duplicator, and Narset. Kind of a crazy bunch of cards there, not gonna lie. Can cast my commander yet again. I think I do. That's what we came here to do, yeah. I mean, we can just keep casting it. I can actually cast it next turn again as well, if I really wanted to. So you just keep going for it. I don't even have lands to play with it. It's funny, my opponent keeps trying to counter it. I don't have any lands. I don't have any lands. Can't attack. Alright, so it's in play. It's chilling. But so is my opponent's. Probably worthwhile trade-off, though. One of those things being, I don't actually have a land. To go with my commander. And my opponent knows that, because I didn't play a land. So, as far as my opponent's concerned, it doesn't actually do anything currently. Okay, let's make a move on their commander, shall we? That just worked. Sure. This has prowess, right? No, it doesn't. Let's swing for 5. Cast my random 3/3. And then leave up Felia. Yeah, I've displayed an inability to use my commander, so it looks as non-threatening as I essentially could ask for here. Opponent actually agrees. One, two, three. Yeah, not quite.
It's got vigilance, you might as well. Yep, there you go. Felia just resolved. Interesting. Found a land. Topiary Stomper. Interesting. Not the strongest, but again, we have an instant speed combo with our Court of Calling effectively. Hullbreaker Horror. So win the game? I don't think they can do anything. Crazy game. Against a Tameo player, too. Wow. They can cast 7 spells at maximum, let's say, which is not going to happen. Yeah, they can't bounce anywhere near enough things with the Hullbreaker Horror. They just can't do it. It's too many. So it's like River's Rebuke, Cyclonic Rift, or you lose. That is quite literally it. Flipping any of these doesn't matter before that would resolve and or block. So they can go at it. Right, just making sure. Yeah, that doesn't effectively do anything. Alright, do you have... There's no reason to cast this. There's no reason to cast that. There's just no reason. River's Rebuke, Cyclonic Rift. Or you lose. Playing my land first. So I can flip what even matters. That one just dealing damage. Give her Ice Till Explorer. What does Ice Till Explorer do? Alright. Well, I'm going to assume my opponent has Cyclonic Rift, so it probably doesn't even matter what I do pre-combat. I don't even know why I'm really thinking about it. Let's get rid of... Oh look, it's the only card that could keep them in the game, no way. Oh, their lands! Their lands. Their lands. It doesn't work! It doesn't work. No combo card, but, you know, subject to change. Yeah, we're just playing the Zone Guard here, while it's effectively safe to do so. Could just get a Plains here. I don't have to... Well, it's Tatyova. I don't have to care about really anything that involves my life total, so... It just doesn't really matter. Looks like they're holding up, what is this, Endurance? Or that weird, Settle... Once Upon a Time? Subtlety, maybe? Yeah, it could be Subtlety.
Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, if you have the Lotus Cobra in play already, you know, there you go. I do have Lotus Cobra in here. That would work. Oh, it's an Explorer Enjoyer. I actually took out Explorer. Look at that. Alright, I can play my commander. I guess. I can get hit by Wash Away and still play Magic, so maybe that's fine? Yeah, we can play Magic after we get hit by... Okay, with Wash Away specifically. It looks like we are actually getting hit by Wash Away. Excellent. Why wouldn't we be? Well, like I said, I'd be vastly more impressed with actually doing anything with this commander than I would be trying to get all my basics out. Well, that's a hand, I guess. Looks like I'm gonna get all my basics out anyways. Alright, well, there are some pretty good top decks in my deck. Opponent keeps the card. Excellent. Love to see it. I'm gonna just get a basic to... No, wait. I should do this and put a stop here. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Well... Not great. Not great. Okay, that was great. That actually was great. Okay. That was probably one of the better things I could have found it right then and there. And we can just pass. We know the top card because of Chocobo. Alright, that was solid. That maybe it's kind of just the best thing I could have asked for other than, like, top deck combo piece or something, I guess. The old cycle to time warp, sure. Sure. Well, I'm certainly not out of this. But I suppose it's not looking terrible. Okay. Looking good. Light and Giver Runes. I don't know if they wanted to crack that last fetch land there. Well, it probably doesn't really matter fundamentally. Probably just doesn't really matter.
Do I want Conduit? It is a guaranteed land drop. Alright, we did it. Yeah, we actually did it. Through a wash away in infinite ramp spells. Yeah, we'll play Ancient Tomb. That's fine. Yeah, we can play that one first. I mean, your deck does one thing. Play land, cast ramp spell. I imagine that's the idea here. Apparently, they don't even have a land. Alright, that's interesting. But they're thinking about something, so I don't know what. Oh, they had Ancient Tomb. Okay, they're debating if Tatyova was the right idea for the turn, I guess. Fair enough. And I would probably argue it is. That's a good one to flip. Green. Alright, well, Felia not at its best right now. Opponent tapping the Ancient Tomb puts him to 10, but Tatyova's in play, so that doesn't really matter. So we can flip this. Actually, I shouldn't flip them now. Alright, yeah, they're just dead. If I get rid of their commander with Felia, it's exactly lethal if I tap Skrelv to make 5 unblockable, flicker Tatyova out of the game. So I actually don't want to flip these because they lose power. Do I play Chocobo turn 2? Well, it's a mono black deck. There's no guarantee I have Eldritch Mystic. I think I should play Restoration to not, like, just have more things to do if this dies, which, oh, it currently looks like it will die. To Flare? Not Grief. Looks like it's Flare? Okay, it looks like it's nothing. This is an instant, right? Yeah, alright. Maybe I keep it a... No, okay. We've done what we've done. Oh wow, it was Grief. That's hilarious. So they would take that. I have to cast it. Let's get rid of you. Get a black and green. Black, green. They take the Chocobo here. Or, do they? I probably do. I would say. Looks like they have some kind of spell that would reanimate the Grief, which then I lose my whole hand and have to rely on This thing now. Alright, well they thought about it, so there's probably no cheat death. I don't know why they would take so long if it was a cheat death there. Alright, there is a cheat death. Oh wait, no, it's not a cheat death. It's a sack it. Sack it to the old, what is that, village rights? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm going to assume they just drew that. Well, I had fun. Play this, Settle will find a Shia if I cast it before I play my land. Which I most certainly will. I wonder if they kill the Mystic or make mana here. The Mystic doesn't do anything. Oh, never mind, it doesn't even... I thought it was the treasure one. I'm just not using my noodle. Play that. We got Giver and Mother. That's hilarious. I'm not going to swing. Alright, I don't need my commander alive. I'm sure they will kill it. No. Oh, really? Okay. Huh. Sure. I mean, I'm taking that. Taking that all the way to the bank. This has 1 damage on it. I can flip it and it won't die. If it was Mother of Runes that didn't make it, this would kill it, but yeah, it only has 1 damage on it. So, cast our commander again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep. Hoping they just recast Sephiroth. Alright, it's effectively the same. Sure. Looking like we're gonna get there. Alright, we did it. Alright, we actually did it. Look at that. There is no stopping this. I can't decline or do anything. It has to happen. Alright, well, they didn't concede, so you just have a sweeper in your deck and in hand, like Damnation, in your Sephiroth deck. Alright, looks like they don't have it, so looking pretty good. We did it. My opponent also gets to see all of my creatures. Look at that. So we untap and we flip over Ice Till Explorer. That doesn't really do anything. Oh, we could flip over this one and then start to pay 2 for each of them instead of their mana cost. I think I'm sacking the Sylvan Safekeeper turn 1. I don't expect that to do anything this game. And I should just play as fast as possible. Yeah, this... I think this is right. I think this is right. This feels like the best idea, so... Especially if this ends up dying, then I'd be like, oh no, I didn't use it. So let's get a white. I suppose another green is ideal as well. There's no reason to play Vine Lasher with a Shockland. Giver Runes is interesting. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, there's no reason to shock myself. At least I don't think there is. Whoa, what the? Okay. Can't copy that. I can start spam copying this thing. It is funny to do that. Yeah, it also gives me some stats. Let's go that route. That seems funny. We like funny stuff here. I know the offspring is essentially the same, but might as well go this route. This age is a colorless source. Giver gives protection from that. Do I play the other land? I don't think I play this land because of my commander. Yeah, I'm gonna hold the land. I can't play extra, like, Vine Lashers anyways. Alright, that blows up the Spring Heart, so I guess my line was ideal. You probably don't want to swing... Oh, wow. You have to tap the Giver, though. Yeah, now you have to tap the Giver. Kind of sketchy, but I guess it's fair enough. It does force me to find some kind of card. It's not like I suddenly kill it because Giver's tapped, but this was not free. Okay, let's play you. Skrill. That thing. Alright. I can swing with loot. Damage does matter, so... Damage does matter. Uh-oh, they scried a card on top. Uh-oh. An Annabelle player keeping a turn 5 play, not a great sign. Oh. Oh, okay, that's fine. Not too concerned about that, currently. Boreal Grazer, excellent. Grim Tutor. So if I keep this, I lose 3 life. Oh, I have to keep this. Oh no. That's why you surveil second. No, there's just nothing. Nope, that's just... Nope. It's not happening. But it's why you surveil second. Tragic. If I Grim Tutor for Ashaya, my commander's dead, so it doesn't actually, like... Okay, I just found Ashaya randomly. That works out. They're also taking real damage from this. This is fine. I'll keep the removal spell. Is that the second time this died this game? No, it's the first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can recast it. They didn't give upfront protection. I don't know if that was maybe a mistake. Alright, they kill the one I didn't block with. That makes sense. I could have 4D chest it and put that in front of their thing there or something like that. They also let me draw. Kind of surprised. I'm winning the damage race, so I don't actually have to play Bitter Blossom on their commander. I'm just simply winning the damage race. I also lost to Shia until I find Reanimate or something. Let's put this on you. Yeah, I don't care about this one. I can potentially get the counter. Okay, let's try again. Holy lands. Alright, calm down. But yeah, we're actually just winning the damage race against this deck. That's hilarious. But they did keep a card on top last turn. I have no idea what it could be. It has to effectively just straight up kill me. Alright, that is not it. I'm going to assume that's what they kept on top. That is also not it. Alright, we did it. We actually just created too many problems. It's just, an army of 2/2s was too much for this commander. That's really funny. But it's the same deck. Let's play you. We should probably hold the fetch land, actually. I'm not remotely interested in playing around Meta Drain, as that card is profoundly stupid. Alright, I didn't have it. Would have effectively lost the game if they did, though. On the spot. Yeah, I would have lost the game. They just play their commander and I would lose. So, not ideal to have as a thing that could happen. Alright, they thought long and hard about their play for the turn. I guess I don't swing. Whatever's castable is castable without going into combat, so we'll just play the Tireless Provisioner here. This is actually a good card on top. I will keep that. Alright, they could have found Meta Drain, because they Planar Genesis for a not land, so it could be a Meta Drain off the top. That would be effectively better than a land. Yep, that's what happened. Because otherwise they would just grab a land, and they didn't, so of course the next best thing possible is what my opponent found. As is tradition. Well, I'd love to see what this deck does normally, but I guess we're not allowed to. Okay, they just didn't use their mana. Strange. I don't know if another Lotus Cobra does anything, but I guess I'll make it. Cast you. Godless Shrine. Because it doesn't matter, I will just make another one. Yeah. Doesn't matter. We'll just do stuff next turn. Doesn't matter if it's this turn or next turn, so might as well save myself the clicks when my opponent inevitably plays Ulamog, and nothing I did mattered, because double mana drain. Well, that's not Ulamog. Doesn't find a land. Doesn't do anything. Alright, I can recast my commander a bajillion times. So I'll start by casting my commander the first time. Another Lotus Cobra. And win the game? Or at least try to win the game? They didn't stop the Ice Till Explorer, so they might not have a counterspell. Alright, there is a counterspell. Fair enough. And there's not anything else to do, so I'll just swing. Opponent still takes 2 damage off the Ancient Tomb, so they've committed to this being either the last turn or... yeah, that's about it, so I don't know. Could have left this up as an instant, but if they have some, like anything that's a major issue, it wouldn't really change anything. Well, if they cast Memory, I'm feeling pretty good about our situation. Offer You Can't Refuse also makes me think there's a wall of counterspells, which means there's a lot of dead cards at this point that just don't do anything. I'm going to assume they're really contemplating this Memory. I mean, if the 3 cards in your hand don't do it, then you're just going to have to cast it. Mass Manipulation. Is that good enough? No lands in the graveyard for the Ice Till Explorer. Should probably kill one of them anyways. Actually, there's no reason to make a move. I don't have to do that right now. I can just go to my turn and see what I draw. Okay, so pay 3 life, kill the commander. Cast it. Oh, they're dead. Okay, they're dead. They're dead. Nice. Yeah, the Ancient Tomb also can't really be tapped anymore. Anyways, Mass Manipulation. Huh. It saved them... Let's see, if they had another blocker in block 2, they'd go to 1 life. It would save them. But they wouldn't be completely out of it. They'd still have more play or something. But yeah, you can just... It's like... Okay, it wasn't actually quite like Tatyova. I said it was. But, yeah, it wasn't like Tatyova. But yeah, I was... Without Mana Drain, my opponent's playing a completely different game. Like, everything in this game is different. It's not in the cards. So, Dark Ritual... 1, 2, 3, green. Okay. Every Tifa player today has had the 1-drop. Interesting. Not all Tifa players play them. green, white. Yep, so I can play this, and now we just have to, like, green suns for 5, which doesn't actually save me against Tifa. But surely my opponent doesn't just have it, right? Okay, I'm gonna play this. And even if if I have a bunch of 2/2s, I don't immediately, like, win the game or anything. Swinging was irrelevant. I might as well have not have swung there. It just doesn't accomplish anything. Yeah, that was just pointless. Shouldn't have attacked. Fetch land. Oh, wow, no fetch land. Crazy. So I take it that means you're not swinging at me this turn. Trading with the combat trick is probably not a good idea. Opponent agrees. So we can do the thing, but again, Tifa can still just kill me. Green? Yep, doesn't actually matter. They can still, like, scape shift kill me and stuff, so. But, I don't know. I can put about 60 points of power into play or something like that. Can I choose how the triggers operate? Gameplay. Okay, so I want to manually put these on the stack like that. Alright, they're over it. Oh, it's Jadzy. Nice. Last time I played against this, my opponent played all the way to decking. I think that was the only time I've ever had someone deck out against me was Jadzy. They, like, literally played every single card in their deck and ran out of cards and lost. It was, like, the longest game. It was 40 minutes or something. It's absolutely bananas. Alright, so we have Elephant? Naming Elephant's funny, but I don't think there's any warriors in my deck, so I guess I just will name Elephant. Elefante. Let's get black and white. Send the old 0. Girth Spiral doesn't leave up a counterspell. At least represent one. Interesting. I know my turn is pretty obvious, but you should maybe leave... Oh, well, if they play, like, untapped green source, they could find Birds of Paradise or something. So, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. Alright, Mana Rock, but only for creatures. Very interesting. Not at all what I expected to have happen there. I'm going to lead with this. Yeah, we're going to lead with this. We don't hit the sauce, so I should take Haro. We'll just run... Oh, I can't now. Oh, I'll play land first. Kind of awkward. Yeah, we'll play this without Offspring. Just cast as a 1-drop. Leave myself options here. Surveil, then draw. Is this when I make my move with Haro? I think so. Get rid of you. Double green. Do I need another white source? No, not Not for most cards. Though I guess I also don't need another black source. So. Or green. Well, we have this card in our hand, so... I don't know. That's what we did. Alright, we have stuff in play. We got... Mossborn Hydra is currently online. Well... Sort of. I can win over 2 turns by tutoring up the Ashaya. Okay. Wow. Yep. Nope, I don't want to flip that. I don't want to flip that. You... So if I cast this, I'm 1 off Ashaya, because my land was tapped. That's so bad. Oh no! Oh no! I forgot I could trick this into combat. Oh. Wait, it would have been 2 more. Okay, it was still 1 off. No, it was still 2 off. All right. It was 2 off. We didn't just throw the game. Sure. This probably would win if I didn't have an answer for it immediately, because that's usually what happens when people play that card. So let's see if I survive killing it like that. I mean, they can play all the tap lands they want. There's a bug in the back of my wall. Gotcha. Stupid little mosquito. Oh, wait, what? I sat back down, looked at the monitor, and my opponent didn't chain endless lands. Okay, so this, at first, I was kind of skeptical about. Just trying to enable the combo felt like not terribly reliable. This is a 5-minute card that requires another 5-minute card to show up out of your deck that you don't have every game. If you really want to just go all in on the combo kind of thing, you could just play Val, right? Where are you? Where are you, Val? Oh, mine's all the way at the bottom. I think I uploaded a list with cards I don't own. Yeah, Recruiter, I don't own this. So you could just play Val and have effectively the same kind of idea going on. It seems like, while it is way easier to get this card than it is Ashaya, the downside, I guess, is you have to trigger this to start the loop, but it's really easy to do that. Like, it's almost so easy, I hardly consider it as something that I even really think about. I was actually playing a really light amount of ways to start the loop, and it felt fine. I see a ton of people play really bad cards, so they always have it, but I just never struggled. But anyways, back to what we were actually playing. So you could probably go that route instead with a combo deck that, you know, your creature and another creature out of your deck. This is more than twice as expensive as... Oh, wait, no. Val costs 3 or 2? Who cares? It's more expensive than Val, and this is more expensive than the green-white thing. So it doesn't need another card. All it needs is these 2. You don't have to, like, trigger this with a life gain or anything. You have green. You're right. You're just doing the best thing in the format, shy of, I guess, Mana Drain and Dark Ritual. Oh, wait, you have Dark Ritual. Never mind, I lied. I actually didn't start the deck with this. I forgot to put it in. I also wasn't playing all the X spells, like Green Sun Cord and whatnot, to start. I kind of forgot about these. This is actually a green card, so that does make sense. I also forgot to talk about Settle the Wilds, because this is my only 5-minute card. As long as my Settle the Wilds puts the 5th land in play, it will always grab this. I kind of like that idea. Anything that cost more than the combo just felt like it was kind of dirtling its value in causing landfall triggers with, like, Green Warden and Primeval Titan. They kind of do stuff without your commander in play, so that is nice, but I'm not really sold that, like, if you get swept, or let's say everything's being killed or something like that,
casting Primeval Titan doesn't just suddenly put you in a winning position, right? Usually a 6-mana card is a bit more, or you want it to be rather more swingy, right? If you play Primeval Titan, it doesn't look too great if your opponent just plays River's Rebuke, or Cyclonic Rift or something, or just Farewell, I guess. And you got some lands, but I don't know. It didn't really feel necessary to play cards that are good, quote unquote, value vomit when your commander's in play, and then like slightly less value but still kind of value vomit when your commander's not in play. Those cards, again, beyond 5 mana, I'm talking about, they just didn't really feel like the right idea. I don't even know if Primeval Titan is the right idea anymore in this format. Some people will always swear by it, right? But you have to consider your opponents don't really care about 6-drops, right? As the format gets older, the more expensive a card is, the less likely it is to survive anything ever. If your opponent is on the play with Tamiyo, your Ancient Green Warden looks really funny in your hand. That won't do anything, right? A lot of games are decided vastly before, way before you get to that mana count. Even in green, it's like, you know, I don't know, it's just something, you could probably just play more efficient, cheap cards that are relevant more games, because they're castable in more games when they're more relevant, right? Your turn 2 play is a lot more impactful than your turn 6 play. Just way more impactful of your turn 2 being something important. So just play more 2-drops, one would say. Assemble the team and Pillars the Bog is what I ended up putting in. I never actually tapped this card. I don't think I even put it in play. Well, other than as a 2/2 that has no text on it. This is kind of neat by sacrificing random stuff with your commander. Like you just playing this and playing a land every turn, and like, oh, I don't want that. Sack it to essentially do it again. You get a land, and then boom, it triggers again. So that's kind of neat. This can actually find a Shia, right? It can only hit creatures. There are, a lot of hits. It's not going to consistently do that, but sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Somebody actually, I think it was the red deck or something, I blocked with the other 2/2s and not with this one. And my opponent killed this one with a removal spell because it was the only one I didn't block with, which, something to consider is sometimes it makes sense to actually block with the one you don't want to die in some kind of combat to make it more random for your opponent. Because if you don't block with it, they're like, oh, well, any removal spell is going to go to the one you didn't block with because I'm going to assume that's the most valuable one. And my opponent just thought like that, incorrectly killed this as the face-down target. So they actually paid attention. Just something to consider there. It's not going to come up very often, but sometimes it does. And it doesn't even actually have to be this card. It could just be something else. Another benefit of playing, let's say, or just a benefit of playing expensive cards like Primeval Titan is you can get them off of this. So this thing has scarier hits when you're not comboing, right? If you just find Primeval Titan and then play a land next turn, you just have Primeval Titan as a face-down thing that actually flips and can swing us a 12/12, right? Yeah, or just make a 6/6, I guess, right? So you could do that, but I don't know. I think the options I had were good enough, and it's still highly random. It's not like you're always going to do that. I never really felt too bad about the army of random 2/2s I got. A lot of those things were fine to flip if I wasn't comboing. Like, finding Mother of Runes was okay. I could just flip it, and then, haha, I have Mother of Runes. I can actually not flip it for a while, and my opponent goes to cast a removal spell, and then boom, I flip it at instant speed, and then, bam. 1-2 punch, counter the removal spell. So, that would be kind of neat. I don't think that ever came up, though, unfortunately. Neither did Flare. I ended up taking out Heroic Intervention. It felt like that just doesn't actually fit in with going for the combo. So, yeah, if you do go for the combo, I would say manually stacking your triggers is kind of a good idea. I'm actually going to turn that back on. But, like, changing that so your Lotus Cobra Nissa stuff, the mana you generate, you might want to put that on top of the trigger, so then you could flip something later with the floating mana and then keep the chain going. Like if your let's say 10th card was Mossborn Hydra and you have Nissa, you want to flip this as soon as possible, so when the chain keeps going, this is just massive when it's over. It'll be like a 50 bajillion or something like that. If it's the last card in the Seek loop, then I guess it doesn't matter. So it's kind of a headache to pay attention to every single thing that flips one at a time, and is probably just something to do for the sake of your opponent conceding, because now you're taking this combo and making it take 4 times as long. Even if they have the sweeper, they're like, I'm just not going to wait this out. You're taking forever. I don't blame people. It could take quite a while if that's the case. Sometimes that's not. Like, the vast majority of the time, I would say you're probably not netting mana with each loop of this, because you need just a specific handful of cards that care about that. But if you have splashed lands that haven't tapped or something, and it's just 2 mana untapped, whenever you hit Lotus Cobra, you would want to flip it instantly and then just start to let it rip or whatever. But something to consider. This card is in here because of the combo, right? You just get basics every time when you're doing the loop, but it never came up. I don't think this is any good. I don't recommend this. You could just play Explosive Vegetations or something probably better than Explosive Vegetations, like, I don't know, Correlating Oracle of Moldiah, something like that, or I don't know. This is never really relevant to me. Even if I had like Bristly Bill or even, I guess, Tifa, I just don't care about this. This could be Omen Path's Journey, honestly. So I just have a land to play over the course of... It like spreads out lands for this. And that could just be better. I don't at all care about this card. I just don't care about it. So I'm definitely going to take that out. Yeah, we dodge River's Rebuke. We dodge Cyclonic Rift because it says non-lands on them. I didn't realize that, but someone tried to mass bounce me, and they're all lands because of this. So you actually dodge the 2 big outs that blue decks have, which is really nice. Really, really nice. Still don't dodge. Still are not dodging. Oh yeah, Bloomvine Reagent. Whoops. Could be in there. Actually, that could just be better than Omen Path Journey, because it costs 3. Never go wrong with more Cultivate. Oh, it costs 5, though. So you lose your Settle the Wilds out. Ooh. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. But, yeah, so I do like this. This is actually kind of a cool thing. It has the old... One of my favorite landfall effects. It just has it tacked on there in a weird way, which is this thing, Zundakar's Royal. There's a white one that costs 4 as well. Felidar Spaghetti. Yeah, this one. So it's kind of like this, which is pretty neat. I've always liked these cards. They're way too slow for the format now, but when they're tacked onto something that threatens a combo and can also consistently find non-token creatures, it's not like the 2/2 is just a 2/2. It actually has the chance to flip and do something incredibly significant, like win the game. It's kind of neat. It's like a cool way to put this text box back in the game that is actually playable. I just really like these cards. Sad to... This one you could probably play in some decks. I don't have a really big issue with this one, but these are like, green doesn't want this anymore. It hasn't wanted these in a while. But yeah, if you're up against... This is a... as close to mono green, I guess, as you can ask for. A green deck that has a way to not die to hyper aggression, because you can make a wall of 2/2s. So that's kind of nice. A lot of mana drains today. I'll say that. A lot of mana drains today. Not too great there. I still am steadfast and don't recommend playing can't be countered cards for the sake of can't be countered, because those cards themselves, while they can auto-win against blue things in other matchups, they're absolutely terrible. If you don't want Mother Giver Skrelv, you could probably play the can't be countered things. you could probably play them, like Allosaurus, Shepherd. I think there's a new one. It's like a 2/2. There's a bunch at this point, but yeah, the Garruk's Companion, except on steroids. Poor Garruk's Companion. So you could play the new Garruk's Companion and other stuff like that. This thing, just the can't be countered stuff. If you really wanted to, today, if I had these instead of Mother of Runes, I would have probably won a handful more games, because this would have just been better than the Giver of Runes or whatever, assuming that's what I drew for it in that exact slot or whatever. But I don't know. I don't like those cards. That hasn't changed. Cavernous Souls is my only exception, really, to that for the most part. But, you know, something to think about. If that's... I see them all the time. People play the can't-be-countered cards, so they must be worthwhile. If you play that turn one, your opponent looks at it and like, well, I'm Urza, so I'm just going to concede. Half my cards don't work. It's like, all right, there you go. But I don't know. Not something I particularly interested in doing. It also doesn't lead to appealing content in like what a deck can do when you play Allosaurus Shepherd turn one and your opponent concedes. And if that happens 3 games in a row, I don't really get a gauge of what this deck can do other than the typical green thing, and that doesn't lead to interesting content for YouTube at least, and I don't know how fun that is to watch. Oop, click that away. But all in all, cool strategy. I like what it does. Very interesting. It does not have to combo to win the game. That is huge. That's quite significant, I would say. That actually changes it from my comparison to Val. I actually didn't consider that. Val can really struggle to win without the combo. This can win without a Shia. Really, really nice there. So let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.